and welcome to Friendship, Wellness, and Wisdom with Heather and Rachel. On this podcast, we like to get together and discuss all types of self-care. Really, they vary in so many different ways, and between the two of us, I think we've tried and talked about and taught so many different forms of self-care, and there's so many out there that we're still interested in learning about. So, if you'd like to join us on this journey of self-care, we invite you to subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you can see what we're up to from time to time. If you have anything that you'd like to hear us talk about or any topics that you think that, you find interesting that you'd like to see on the show, drop us a line in the comments. So I'm Rachel and this is
Heather.
And today we are going to be talking about mindfulness-based stress reduction. So,
Yes.
All right, Heather, why don't you let us know what that's about?
All right. So mindful-based stress reduction, most people know it as MBSR. And you'll see that, if you are one of those people that are looking for a meditation thing, if you type that in, this will come up here and there. It is a structured based meditation, right? It's usually like an 8-week program. And you meditate at the same time every day. It's showing gratitude. It's non-judgment and non-attachment. And it's very much based in mindfulness as well as yoga. So they combined the structure of meditation, mindfulness, and yoga for this program. The program came about in around the 1970s, and there is clinics and things like that you can go to practice this practice. And the great thing about something like this, a submersion is what I call it, a submersion or a retreat or whatever you want to call it, is that it really sets you up to retrain your brain to look at things in a very mindfulness way, right? We have to, when we look at a mindfulness practice, we're looking at intention, right? Setting up a good intention for us to travel through our day, travel through our life. MBSR helps with so many things. It helps with stress and pain and just moving through the challenges of everyday life, right? And most mindfulness practices do that. This is just very structured. This is just a very structured practice.
Yeah, I feel like with a lot of these, and everyone's gonna find that there's something out there that they like a little bit more than something else. And this is a way that this is structured. So if you find that you're interested in something like this, this is your program that you like, then that's your way, and you find a way to work with that. There's a lot of different things that are a little structured, a little bit looser, a little bit, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but some people look for more of that structure. Some people need a little looser application. Sometimes you want to go in and have a whole lot of structure in the beginning and learn how to do something, right?
Yeah.
And then you can kind of take it on your own. And I love this when people find these different ways to kind of bring these different practices together to kind of help you just really incorporate everything for yourself, and learn how to just take that all in and work it into your life and kind of move through. All right. So now that I've interrupted your flow, you can...
Oh no, you're good. I think there's, there's compliments to all of it, right? But I think the compliment to anything that's submersive, right, is that it gives you that separation, right? When you do, I'm a great component for retreats, yoga retreats and mindfulness retreats and everything like that, but they're not accessible financially to everybody.
Right.
And so you have to start somewhere, right?
Or even
But
time-wise, sometimes you just can't get
yeah,
away.
right. But if you can really get away to remove yourself from your daily elements to concentrate on one pinpoint thing of, the mindfulness based stress reduction or yoga or that, right? If you could remove all your outside elements, it helps you pinpoint where
Mhm.
you need to go mentally. It helps you pinpoint where you need to go physically. The other thing about anything that's a submersive is that you have that guided person,
Right.
guiding you through all the steps. And when things aren't going or feeling or whatever correctly, then you can rely on that person to help you overcome that little
Yeah.
challenge
I
or
think it allows you to kind of let go a little bit
Mhm.
more, right?
Yeah,
So you don't have to be like, you're just in charge of all you're in charge of is what you're doing. So
right.
someone else is kind of taking you through it. So that in itself can really just kind of like be a stress reliever in that
Yes,
in that moment, right? So
yes,
you're being mindful,
absolutely.
you're fully in the moment, whether you're doing something physical or you are just meditating. Your responsibility at that moment is just to that moment, just to yourself, and then
Right.
you've got someone guiding you through it, so it's almost like a little bit more of permission
Mhm.
to just sort of let everything else go,
Right. And
which is just wonderful in itself.
yeah, and the real key to this particular one is the non-judgment, right?
Mm,
Is the detachment from judgment. And so to be on a program where you're constantly brought back to you need to be mindful, but you need to be non-judgmental, and you're non-judgmental to you.
yeah,
Are you doing it right? How is this working? I'm not doing this right. I can't tap in. I can't find my breath. I can't, whatever. And to have somebody guide you with non-judgment, I find is super helpful because we revert back to that. We talk about that in our self-talk
yeah, absolutely.
conversation, and it's an easy revert, right? It's an easy place to go, and so when you have somebody that really is um, a guide, they can really help you overcome that for the time that you're there, for sure.
Mhm.
And so and then they have ones that you go to and then you go home, right? So it's like a couple times a week or, every day for 8 weeks or whatever that looks like. And then those are cool too, because then you're not totally removing yourself from your life and you get to go home and practice those tools at home every
Where all the distractions live.
yes where the stress probably came from.
Yeah, so
Let's be honest. And so, yeah, so it's a really cool practice. Um, it really taps you in, and then it changes your life. It changes how you look at things and things like that. The thing that's important about all this, like mindfulness practice, whether it's this one or any other one, it's super important to continue. It's not like a one and done. Nothing is a one
right.
and done. If anybody thinks that there's a magic pill for all of it, there's not. Like
Yeah.
everything is you have to do the work.
Well, it's all about present moment awareness as well.
Right.
So you can't do a one and done as far as that's concerned. Like if
Yeah.
you're being mindful and
Right.
you introduce mindfulness into your life, it then becomes a daily practice.
Right.
Now, if it becomes a habit, that makes it easier to do, right? So we have to you don't brush your teeth once and then you're done. You
Yeah.
don't do laundry once and then you're done. These are like everyday, like little bits of, self-care,
Mhm.
and you need to keep practicing that. You need to bring yourself back to the present moment because that's the only place that's where peace lives. Peace
Right.
only lives in the present moment.
Right.
So remembering that I think makes it a little bit easier, and it can be simple. You don't constantly have to have a super structured practice.
Mhm.
Just sometimes it's those little reminders in your head to like kind of come back to what's happening now and notice, what's here in this moment.
Yeah. And no, and you have to get to know yourself. Like some people are routine people.
Yeah.
And routine is where they live and where they're comfortable and things like that. Some people are very ebb and flow, right? So some people are very comfortable with, I'm going to do, a mindfulness meditation practice here, there, and everywhere that I can like plug it in because my life
Mm-hmm.
is busy, or, whatever the case is. The one thing that is, with a mindfulness practice, you cannot step out of things to be mindful, right? So when we talk about time, we talk about, finding the time to plug things in, right? You could
Mm-hmm.
be mindful all the time.
Yeah.
You could be mindful all the time. It doesn't take extra time to be mindful. You could be mindful all the time. We talked in our one episode about taking a shower, right? You're
Yeah,
already in there
absolutely.
taking a shower. Be mindful. Be mindful of the water, the temperature, how it hits your skin, things like that. Be mindful when you're washing your hair. Be
Even in
mindful
the
when you're
middle of the
washing your feet.
day, like
Yeah.
how you're reacting to someone, like someone's telling you something, and literally notice how your body is reacting to
Hmm.
what's going on in your
Right.
environment, whether it's at work or with your family or whatever. Like some things are going to stress you out, and you kind of want to know like what's happening. Why are you being stressed out right now? What's leading to that? Or
Right.
if you're calm, like noticing that you're feeling calm and relaxed right now, and that's really it. Like you're just kind of being in the present moment. You're mindful of what is happening to you
Right.
at this moment, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, like how your body and your mind are reacting to your current situation.
Right. And so you can tap mindfulness into every part of life. And I really challenge you to do that because it changes the way you wash dishes. It changes the
Yeah,
way you fold your
absolutely.
laundry. It changes you. It changes you. And when we start to change us, we change people around us, right? People start to notice and things like that. And you change your demeanor, you change the way, like you were saying, you change the way you respond, react.
Yeah, how
Uh,
you show up, how you
yeah,
show up in the moment
right.
and
And
throughout your day.
so um, there's a lot of great apps and things for this, and books. So there's books. So the person that created this, Jon Kabat-Zinn, or Zinn, I hope I'm saying his name right, but he has written a ton of books. He's got workbooks out. He and others that have piggybacked off this, and that he has trained, have created methods for this. And there's a ton of stuff. You can get them on Audible, you can get them hardcover, you can get them in Kindle. So however you like to read and do your education piece. I personally, if I'm going to do a workbook, I like to be able to have the workbook
Yeah, I'm
and
the
not
same way. Like I like a physical
right.
workbook.
And there, for me, there's something about the writing, right?
Yeah.
To actually put pen to paper.
Yeah, I still
Um,
do that too. I will still pick up a pen or a pencil and like
yes,
write things down. I sometimes will then go into my phone and like type it into my
right.
notes.
Yep.
But yeah, there's something about that physical action that kind of it embeds it like
Yeah.
into your memory, like into your body somehow. Like it
Hmm.
causes like a connection for me anyways.
Yeah. And the other thing is like to actually put pen to
Mm.
paper and be mindful of how your thoughts are flowing, right? To get them out of your head and flow them out. And so the mindfulness workbook is a really good thing to research and look at. They have mindfulness scripts in there. They have like journal prompts and things like that. So it's really a great tool. And then online courses. You have the online courses for the 8-week program. Palos Mindfulness is a free online MBSR.
Oh,
And
cool.
so they do video lessons and guided meditations and articles. And then mindfulness-based stress reduction online by Sound of Truth or Sounds True, blah, blah, sorry. Um, I told you before we started the show, I said to Rachel, I was like, oh, this could be a fun day. Because
Yeah, I know. Some days your tongue gets tied and it just
yes,
does, it does not want to do the things you want it to do.
yeah. And then there's also Mindfulness Leader, MBSR, an online course, and that's offered by, it's actually offered by them. And then you have meditation apps, right? Meditation apps are going to bring you, they have guided meditation, they have meditation prompts, they have all this stuff. So I've used Headspace and Calm. Those are two that I have used. The subscription is not too bad. The fact of the matter is it's like $60 a year or a little bit more.
If you pay monthly, yeah.
For me, it is like seriously a good way to go. I've done meditations via YouTube and everything, which is okay to do, but it is a lot easier when you are in like one particular thing and it's an easier search.
I think the prompts for it, like if you know what you're looking for and you're looking
Yeah.
for certain types of meditations, the categories are a little bit easier to follow
Mhm.
when you're in a structured app. A lot of them
Right.
will give you like a timeline so you can like look up like 5-minute meditations even if you have 5 minutes, like,
Mhm.
and then it will be each specific type of meditation. Most of them are set up pretty similarly with that, like with the way that you can do your searches.
Right.
And it does make it easier
Mhm. The other
to navigate.
and the other thing is then you're off social media and it's not down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, because you go
Because
onto YouTube and it will just keep like spitting all that stuff out
yes,
at you.
it will
It
rabbit
gets
hole you.
very overwhelming, and then
It,
there goes your whole mindfulness practice because now
yes.
you're like,
Yeah.
I'm in YouTube hell.
Yeah. 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Um, so
As SpongeBob goes dancing through your head. Okay.
yes, shows me where my brain is or today, right? And so there's a ton, like we were talking, there's a ton of things. The inner sight, insight timer, I have not used it, but as I just downloaded it and I'm looking through it, it seems to be free. I haven't got a prompt yet to pay, subscribe, or anything. So that might be one that you can dive into. And then we went to YouTube. Podcasts are really good
Mm-hmm.
too. We support our podcast peeps. And then
And Spotify and Audible have
yes,
also have, so if you have subscriptions to those, you can
yes,
go on and check out and see what kind of meditations they have available to you on that as well.
absolutely. And then the other thing is like there are so many Facebook groups
Mm-hmm.
and people that you can follow on social media if social media is your thing, right? There's inspirational groups outside of social media and online and things like that. There's life coaches that teach mindfulness and so many programs. And so I mean there's a plethora of things that you can really tap into. Some of the hard stuff is weeding through
Right. Yeah.
everything, right? So the reason why we bring up the mindfulness practice that we're talking about today is because it's an easy search. It truly is a structured program. And so if that's the one that you're interested, all you have to do is type in your search engine MBSR and it is going to give you the information for that particular program or one of those programs.
Okay.
And
Yeah, so you could online course. So I mean, you could put an online course. You could put in what, like retreat, like submersive
yes,
program,
absolutely.
depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah. And so you just put that in your search with
Mhm.
retreat, program, book, and then that's going to narrow down your search. I find that a lot of times when people are on this journey, right, there's so much information, and it's really all at your fingertips, but the exhausting piece of it, you'll lose your mind going actually running through
Yeah.
everything and trying to figure out, how do I implement, where do I start, who is the right person for me, all these things. And um, it does become overwhelming, and it
Yeah.
it winds
Really
up
can.
being, I was on this journey for a mindfulness peaceful practice, and now I am overwhelmed and I just want to go lay in bed, right? Right. And
And now I'm exhausted.
yes, I'm done. And so um, this is just one of those tools, right? We try to give you as many tools as we can in this podcast, and this is just one of those tools. So this is a structured mindfulness practice, especially if you're a yogi, right? If you like yoga, this is a great one for you, because it brings you back to center. It brings you back to your base, right? And it's nice because it is structured, and you can kind of escape for the time that you are in that structured environment, whether it's online or at a retreat.
Yeah,
um
absolutely. Just make sure no matter what you're gonna do, that if you are making this time for yourself, you truly make it time for yourself. So if
mhm,
you are gonna do something from home, like, make sure you've got that time to, like, close the door,
right,
unplug, like,
yeah.
turn off your devices, unless, you're
Yeah.
using your computer, like, but, you don't
Yeah,
want your phone distracting you,
right.
or, like, your kids or the dogs running in, like, make sure you have that time and that space to,
Hmm.
be mindful and
Shut off
to
the
relax.
notifications.
And
You
yeah,
use your device, shut off your notifications. Like,
absolutely.
you don't need to be distracted. um we get distracted every day, all the time. And when you
Absolutely.
are really taking the time for yourself, take the time for yourself. It's important. The other thing is, the non-judgment and the non-attachment is huge. Do not judge yourself when you are doing self-care.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, that can be very
It
difficult, right? Because 'Cause you're, like, trying to make time for yourself, and it's, like,
Mhm.
so counterproductive when you're like, "I can't figure out how to do this. I'm not doing this," and then you're just creating more stress.
Yeah,
Like, and it's just that can be sometimes getting started with that, like, just finding that, it can
yeah,
be difficult, and that's fine.
right,
So it's difficult
right,
for you. And
right,
maybe tomorrow it won't be
right.
difficult for you. Like, that's what the experience is in that moment. But that can change sometimes in 2 breaths, sometimes in 2 days.
Yeah,
So, it's a big, you gotta let go of that judgment and, like, let go of your expectations,
right.
because it's going to be different every single time.
Yes.
Embrace the experience.
Yeah. And that's where the mindfulness comes in, right? Being in the here and now. Being okay with not being okay
Yeah.
is part of mindfulness. And then breathing through it, breathing through what you're going through is also mindfulness. So if you can tap into the moment, be in the moment, and give yourself grace, right? Just give yourself the time, the space, and give yourself the love and compassion that you deserve. You deserve to be well, right?
Yeah.
Everybody deserves to be well. And it's a lifelong practice to be well, right? It's not like you can just willy-nilly go through life and not really be mindful, and just whatever
It's
happens.
each experience, all the things that we do on the daily, they take a different shape and form
Yeah,
every single day. Like, your morning drive is not always the same.
right.
You still do it. One day it takes longer, one day it's a little bit shorter, one day it's really stressful and hectic. The next day you just breeze right along without even noticing a care. So it's the same thing with these practices. They're
Right.
going to change. And if you can just find that peace and calm in one out of the 20 minutes that you spend,
Mhm.
it's worth it. And if you notice how you're feeling, even if you're not feeling great and you're distracted, notice that you're distracted today, because maybe that distraction is trying to tell you something.
Right.
And you needed that distraction on that day for some other reason. So when you let go of that judgment and you open yourself up to that awareness, it really, you start to develop your own intuition and really start to notice like some of the smaller things that are going on that, you needed to pick up on. And there's a reason that, like, maybe today, like, the hamster on the wheel is just going a little extra fast, and
right.
that's
right.
okay.
Yeah. And know that you have options, right?
Yeah.
You have options. There's tons of things out there. And if you, we'll put all this in our notes for the podcast, but know that if you reach out to us and we can help you research, we will,
Yeah. There's lots of these things that we've researched, like,
right.
And
Yeah.
gone through and like whittled things down to find like, okay, you know what, I really like this one. It's simple, it simplifies it. So it's very
right.
to the point.
Right.
It's like, unlike those videos that you watch and like, here, this is like a 7-second hack. And meanwhile, you get sucked into a 30-minute video that takes you to a website that makes you purchase some sort of supplement. And you're like, wait, what?
What just happened?
I thought it was like 7 seconds to put something into my coffee in the morning, and now you want me to buy $300 worth of supplements.
And before you know it, you're hitting the checkout button. Dang it. So yes. So we're going to wrap this up. Integrating mindfulness based stress reduction into your daily life offers a compassionate path towards a greater well-being. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. It doesn't get any simpler than that, right? Being mindful just changes your well-being, and it changes it for the better. So, we're going to sign off. We appreciate your time.
Yes.
We love that you tune in. Know that right now we're doing every other week.
Yeah.
And once our lives settle down a little bit, we will go back to every week, I'm sure. But right now, every other week is where we're at, just to give you quality information. So we appreciate you, and have a great day.
Until next time. Bye, guys.